Hi, so this is Paul.
I'm Stuart.
Basically, we thought it really important that you guys out there know about some really great British films that are being made every single year but aren't getting the attention they deserve, really. So yeah, this week we watched The Hide.
It's now 8:05 and we're calling it 30, 40, 50 seconds. Wind gusting in brisk and cold from the east as forecast. No sighting of a you know what just yet. I shall call you back when I've had my Nutrigrain. Over. Righty-ho, Amanda Lowe, let us have a butcher's. Now that, pumpa pumpa, is one for the ball. Cock. It's all go in here, isn't it? It is all go.
This is the broadcast channel. We're looking for a white male of average build, approached with caution.
I stumbled across The Hide, looking online for contained thrillers. Ended up watching Retreat, which is a great film. Again,
Yeah.
I watched that. But then I had to go back and try and find The Hide. Now, annoyingly, I'd forgot the title. So I actually had to then go online and type in films about bird watching and try and find it. And it was like, this is a British film.
Yeah.
I'm desperate to consume this film and I'm struggling to find it, which is shocking, really, because it's such a good film.
It's a helicopter.
Must be the SC Rescue, eh?
With the police, perhaps? Looking for something.
It is a contained thriller and it definitely thrills,
Yeah.
considering it is all just in one location with two characters.
From the first few minutes of the film, when you're introduced to one of the characters on his own, you're instantly wanting to learn more about him, the way that
Yeah.
they set up the characters, and then as soon as the second character is introduced, it just draws you in further, because the two men are seemingly couldn't be more different from each other, but then they start to bond, and then it spirals out of control from there, and there's a lot of revelations that come out. Roy is set up fantastically, because he's an ornithologist, a bird watcher. He watches trains. He he's like an anorak type character. He has a train set in
But
his
it's incredibly
bedroom.
watchable though. He has there's this constant bounce between the characters whereby one of them you think is like the lead, if you like, or taking the taking the reins of the conversation, if you like. They kind of have the status within that conversation, and then it will split and it will move. But that will be happening as their relationship is growing together and as this tension is growing. So you've almost got three parallel little stories running alongside each other that all intermix. And then you've got these sublime flashes of very dark humour, which is... It was really funny in places,
really
in the
good,
worst possible way in some respects as well.
Chief Chaff, I have arrived. Chief Chaff, I've survived the Spanish to get here.
Dave, the other character, the kind of more mysterious character that comes into it, he talks about angle grinders, and he gives an analogy which was just really well placed of it would go through an eyeball like a laser. How scary is that? But it's just dropped into the conversation.
The way it's delivered in just common, they're just, it's brilliant. It's like an eyeball, a laser through an eyeball. And it's like, what? And there's just loads of little hints at that. So that kind of give you little clues to something's not quite right here. But it's not specific to one character.
No,
they both have these shades of grey that get increasingly dark throughout until the finale, where you find out what's really going on.
Tries to pull the loose ends really well for me. It's one of those great films that makes you go back and watch it again in your head. And you said right at the start, you're playing it over and over really, and it sticks with you. So that's to me, that's what you want from a film, really. Another thing on the dialogue, and this is mainly through writing myself, understanding kind of the craft you have to go through, the level of detail you have to get to. the amount of research that must have gone into that film.
Mm.
On bird watching, on the whole Power Tools thing, but
Yeah.
there's lots of incredibly specific examples that again help to build the characters so well rounded. It was just, again, my hat off to the writer.
For the first time in my life, I'm truly happy. Full stop.
You're the one stuck in here in this shed. And your birds are the ones that are free. You're the one who's caged.
I think one of the biggest themes that is, I don't know, more on the surface in a way, is this idea of freedom. The idea that these free men have to contain themselves in this little hide, have to trap themselves in there to watch the birds that are truly free. Again, it plays into the characterisation without giving too much of the plot away. It does kind of, that idea of freedom leans on emotional freedom, I suppose.
Yeah. For one of the characters specifically, it uses almost like flashbacks, but they're very cryptic and they do imply a certain thing to begin with.
Yeah, it was good misdirection.
Yeah,
really,
it's
on
really
tone,
good misdirection
isn't it?
because it changes very quickly and you do realise what those flashbacks are.
What's nice as well, the original motivations, if you like, the surface motivations of the
Yeah.
characters are understandable, identifiable, and it could potentially live or die on that in its own right, if that makes sense. So you could play it on that level, but it's so rich in the story that there's so many levels to the motivations behind the characters.
Things that I noticed, the way it was spectacularly directed is there's, because it's kind of a dark and dreary day, there's a storm outside.
Yeah, although it's beautiful cinematography right from the off, isn't it?
When they're in the hide, it's always very dimly lit.
Yeah.
To the point where there's two like slats windows that they look out of with the binoculars to spot the birds, and there's just very soft lighting coming through that pretty much the whole way through. And then you were mentioning before that whenever the characters kind of sit down, they have an emotional moment where they reveal something more about themselves. They'll step back into the darkness where there's this bench at the back, and they'll start talking.
It really surprised me how much I liked it. If that made sense.
When you first suggested I watch it, I looked at the box and I was like, is this going to be that? Am I going to be that engrossed in it? But you really are.
So do comment please on this video. Tell us what you're watching, what things we should be checking out and reviewing as well. And very importantly, buy British. Watch British.
That was so cheesy, and we're never doing that again. See you later.